All right, I have some more quotes for you to begin our talk. You will see your home and family as though you were meeting them in a dream, but although you speak to them, you will get no reply. And you will see your relatives and family weeping, so you will think, I am dead. What shall I do? And you will feel intense pain. But now suffering is of no use. Supplicate the Lord of great compassion. Even though you are attached to your relatives, it is no use, so do not be attached. At this time, bridges, shrines, monasteries, huts, and so on will shelter you for a moment, but you will not stay there for long. You cannot settle down. You will think, alas, I am dead. What shall I do now? Since you must move on without settling down, rest your mind in its basic state. Rest in the state of non-action, undistracted. It is your own karma that you are suffering like this, so you cannot blame anyone else. The Lord of Death will say, I will look in the mirror of karma, and all your sins and virtues will appear in it clearly. Do not be afraid. The lords of death are the natural forms of emptiness. Your own confused mind self-display. Meditate. Look closely at the nature of what makes you afraid, and you will see emptiness. This emptiness is not negation, but mind with great awareness and clarity. O child of noble family, see in this way without distraction. As soon as you recognize, you will attain complete enlightenment. Do not be distracted. This is a dividing line where Buddhas and sentient beings are separated. It is said of this time, in an instant they are separated. In an instant, complete enlightenment. O child of noble family, if you cannot get rid of passion and aggression, whatever of the above experiences may arise, call on the name of the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, and take refuge in them. Supplicate the Lord of great compassion. Go on with your head held high. Give up attachment and yearning. We left off in our story at the end of the Bardo of the experiencing of reality, where we failed to recognize the wrathful deities. Now the winds of karma begin to blow even stronger, and we begin to fear and hate the state we are in, and we enter the third plane of the middle ground, the Sidpa Bardo, the Bardo of rebirth. It has three prominent phases. First, a phase of roaming, then the judgment scene, where karma totalizes, all the karma of your previous life plus the karma of your experience in the Bardo, and then the rebirth process itself. This phase is characterized by what is called the spirit body. And the text is full of vivid and fascinating imagery, so I'm going to read a lot of it aloud. It is presented as a time of great opportunity and also the time of most danger. Where there is the greatest danger, there is also the greatest opportunity. It is called the Bardo of existence, or the Bardo of becoming, and lasts until the moment the person enters the next life. According to Francesca Fremantle, it is called the Bardo of existence because a vivid sense of dualism arises once again, a powerful sense of self and other, demarcated by a strong sense of having a body in an external world, which is brought into existence by your mind through the power of desire and fear. Existence means subjects aware of objects, and is marked by the three inevitable characteristics of existence: impermanence, insubstantiality, and dukkha. Francesca Fremantle can help us again. The Bardo of existence corresponds to what most people think of as the after-death state, where our past life is summed up and our future is decided. It is dominated by the law of karma. Here the consequences of our thoughts, words, and deeds take form in front of our eyes. It is an extremely volatile and fluid state, described as full of terror and suffering. Our perceptions and the environment around us are continually changing as the effect of past actions come to the surface, like the distorted memories of the previous day's events during a dream. As the text says, it is your own karma that you are suffering like this, so you cannot blame anyone else. Right? This can be compared to our present life, because remember, that's what this book is about, our present life right now, wherever our now finds us. It just turns out one day our now will find us actually dying. This can be compared to our present life, where the sequence of dissolution, entering a space of infinite potentialities and re-emerging, takes place continually in many different timescales. Waking consciousness dissolves when we fall asleep. We spend several hours in what we consider to be unconsciousness, and then we return to the waking state. Within that unconscious period, dreams arise, dissolve, then arise again. In waking life, a dominant mood fades away and leaves a gap of uncertainty before another emotion replaces it. And all the time, fleeting thoughts and feelings come and go. One state of mind dies, there is a moment of openness, then another state of mind is born. If we can accustom ourselves to seeing this whole process as a play of illusion, it will help us to avoid grasping at the chance of rebirth when we're in the Bardo of existence. Again, note the vivid imagery as we read. This is actually the part that fascinates me the most. It's the part, somehow, I don't know how else to put it, it's the part I feel most familiar with, as if I'm remembering something. Or maybe it's just because my life is like this. First it says, well, I'll just read it. O child of noble family, with a body like this, you will see your home and family as though you were meeting them in a dream. But although you speak to them, you will get no reply. And you will see your relatives and family weeping, so you will think, I am dead, what shall I do? And you will feel intense pain, like the pain of a fish rolling in hot sand. O child of noble family, blown by the moving winds of karma, your mind, without support, helplessly rides the horse of wind like a feather, swaying and swinging. You will say to the mourners, I am here, do not weep. But they will not perceive you, so you will think I have died, and now you will feel great pain. Do not suffer like that. All the time there will be a gray haze, like the gray light of an autumn dawn, neither day nor night. This kind of Bardo state will last for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7 weeks, up to 49 days, right? It depends on how developed you are in meditation, how quickly these things go. It is said that the suffering in the Bardo of becoming generally lasts for 21 days, but this is not quite certain because of the influence of karma. O child of noble family, at this time the great tornado of karma, terrifying, unbearable, whirling fiercely, will drive you from behind. Do not be afraid of it. It is your own confused mind's self-display. Dense darkness, terrifying and unbearable, will go before you with terrible cries of strike and kill. Do not be afraid of them. In the case of others who have done great evil, many flesh-eating demons will appear as a result of their karma, bearing various weapons, yelling war cries, shouting kill, strike, and so on. You will feel that you are being chased by various terrifying wild animals and pursued by a great army in snow, rain, storms, and darkness. There will be sounds of mountains crumbling, of lakes flooding, of fire spreading, and of fierce wind springing up. In fear you will escape wherever you can, but you will be cut off by 3 precipices in front of you, white, red, and black, deep and dreadful, and you will be on the point of falling down them. O child of noble family, they are not really precipices. They are aggression, passion, and ignorance. Recognize this now to be the Bardo of becoming, and call on the name of the Lord of great compassion. Right? Now, what you want to note as you read through this section is the repeated injunction to rest in the state of non-action and non-attachment. It's a constant theme. Remember what non-attachment means. It doesn't mean you don't have feelings. It doesn't mean you don't love someone. It doesn't mean you don't care for someone. It just means you don't obsess over them and try to hold on to them and freeze them and make them something unreal. Remember when we studied Taoism, you become clear as the morning and you let the emotions roll through you, right? You experience love for someone, but you don't obsess over it, right? You're not attached, right? So the text says, in the case of others who've gathered merit and were virtuous and practiced Dharma sincerely, all kinds of perfect enjoyment will invite them, and they will experience all kinds of perfect bliss and happiness. Now that's a trap too, see, that's a problem, right? Because in the case of those who are indifferent and ignorant, who did neither good nor evil, they will not experience pleasure or pain, but only ignorance and indifference will appear. Notice indifference is as great, so you wouldn't want to confuse indifference with non-attachment. Indifference is as terrible a thing as attachment or aversion, right? To be indifferent, to be attached, to feel aversion or hate, or to be indifferent are all equally a mistake and represent attachment, right? Whatever arises like this, O child of noble family, whatever pleasures and objects of desire, do not be attracted to them or yearn for them. Give up attachment and longing in your heart. And if the experience of indifference arises without either pleasure or pain, another problem, right? Rest your mind in the great symbol state of undistracted non-meditation. This is very important. Now, at this point, we become confused and do not realize we're dead. We're upset at being ignored, at what we take to being slighted. And karma and suffering is manifested in very vivid forms. Professor Fremantle can help us again. This is on page 349. Don't neglect the great images in the book as well. All right, 349. In the previous Bardo, our true nature was revealed in its basic state of purity as the self-manifesting forms of the deities. But now our confused nature appears as demonic apparitions arising from karma. As the elements return, right, the five skandhas, they manifest externally in threatening forms. In the words of the verse, as enemies. Earth becomes mountains, collapsing upon us. Water becomes a great flood that sweeps us away. Fire rages all around and scorches us, and air is a violent wind that batters us relentlessly. Passion, aggression, and delusion lie in wait like treacherous abysses opening up beneath our feet. All our inner demons, the karmic results of the harm we have done and the hurts we have caused, pursue us with vengeful fury. These experiences are all the natural self-display of our own mind, and we must not be afraid of them, but we're also warned against attachment to the illusory appearances resulting from positive karma, and also against an attitude of apathy toward neutral appearances. Since everyone has undoubtedly performed good, bad, and neutral actions, the consciousness of the dead person is tossed around by the winds of karma between these various experiences. Although the disembodied mind has supernormal powers and can go wherever it wishes, it is unable to settle down for any length of time and longs to find shelter and rest. At last, it realizes that it has died. When this realization dawns, your heart will suddenly grow empty and cold, and you will feel intense, boundless pain. So you wander, restless, looking for a place to rest, trying one place after another, but nothing satisfies. It just exactly calls to mind when I was in high school and friends and I'd just go driving. And we didn't know what we wanted to do, and we just went driving, and we'd try to rest somewhere for a while. It wouldn't work. We'd go driving again, just driving, right? Just restless souls, right? So the text says, O child of noble family, at this time bridges, shrines, and monasteries, huts, and so on will shelter you for a moment, but you will not stay there for long. Since your mind is separated from your body, you cannot settle down. You feel angry and cold, and consciousness becomes airy, speeding, swaying, and impermanent. Then you will think, alas, I am dead. What shall I do now? And thinking this, your heart will suddenly grow empty and cold, and you will feel intense and boundless pain. Since you must move on without settling in any one place, do not occupy yourself with all kinds of thoughts, but rest your mind in its basic state. At this moment, pleasure and pain are determined by your karma. You will see your homeland, friends and relatives, and your own corpse, and you will think, now I'm dead, so what should I do? The mental body will be in extreme pain, and so you will think, now why not find a body? And you will experience going everywhere to look for a body. Even if you try to enter your own corpse up to 9 times, winter will have frozen it, or summer made it rot, or else your relatives will have burned it, or buried it in a grave, or given it to the birds and the wild animals. For a long time has passed in the Bardo of Dharmata, so you will find nowhere to enter. You will be in great despair, and have the feeling of being squeezed in between all the rocks and stones. Suffering like this is the Bardo of becoming. Even if you look for a body, there is nothing but suffering. So cut off your yearning for a body, and rest in the state of non-action, non-attachment, undistracted. Notice also that karma is still operative. What you do in each moment will affect you greatly. Even in the judgment scene, karma is still operative. Remember what the Buddha said. What you are is what you have been. What you will be is what you do now. Whatever you do will affect you greatly. And notice that in the experience of judgment, you are really judging yourself. There is no external judge, no God or deity outside of you to judge you, no Yama actually cutting you up and eating you. You're eating yourself up. Have you ever done that? You've done something wrong? We use that language. We say, it's eating me up. Why did I do that? Right? So instead, you will judge yourself, and you won't cut yourself any slack. Okay? So the text says, here we go. At this time you'll be very frightened and terrified, and you will tremble and lie, saying, I have not sinned. Then the Lord of Death will say, I will look in the mirror of karma. And when he looks in the mirror, all your sins and virtues will suddenly appear in it clearly and distinctly. So although you've lied, it is no use. You can't lie to yourself. Then the Lord of Death will drag you by a rope tied round your neck and cut off your head, tear out your heart, pull out your entrails, lick your brains, drink your blood, eat your flesh, gnaw your bones. Sounds like the 3 billy goats gruff to me, but you cannot die, so even though your body is cut into pieces, you will recover. Being cut again and again causes extreme pain, so do not be afraid when the white pebbles are being counted. Do not lie, and do not fear the Lord of Death. You are really the natural form of emptiness, and the lords of death are the natural forms of emptiness, your own confused mind's self-display. Emptiness cannot harm emptiness. The uncharacterized cannot harm the uncharacterized. External lords of death, gods, evil spirits, the bull-headed demon, and so on, have no reality apart from your own confused mind's self-display. So recognize this. At this moment, recognize everything as the Bardo. Now, at this time, non-attachment, notice it says it again and again, non-attachment is all important. You don't want to be distracted from either hate or desire or apathy, but you want to rest and balance and equanimity. Essentially, as far as I can tell, coordinating 2 fingers pointing at the moon, practicing Wu Wei. Right? You become clear as the dawn, let it all roll through you, and you're simply mindful of it without grasping. Now, judging and roaming begin to combine at this time. All kinds of experiences begin to occur in no particular order. And this time of dangerous confusion is at the same time full of the greatest possibilities for enlightenment. So our text says, O child of noble family, to sum up, now your mind in the Bardo state has no support, so it is light and mobile. And whatever thought arises in it, good or bad, is very powerful. So do not think of any evil actions, but remember the practice of virtue. If you have no practice, feel devotion and pure thoughts, and think of the Lord of great compassion. But if you do not recognize, you begin to go towards rebirth, right? And again, what you are is what you have been. What you will be is what you do now. And this is true now at this point, as you begin to move toward physical rebirth, having failed to recognize in the judgment. Now, in this passage I'm about to read, notice the profound essential point they mention. Right? If I can find it. Okay. O child of noble family, if you have not understood what has gone before, from now on the body you had in your past life will grow fainter, and your future body will become clearer. So you will feel sad and think, I am suffering like this, so now I shall look for whatever kind of body appears. And you will move about backwards and forwards toward anything that appears. Right? O child of noble family, listen. If you ask what the 6 lights are, the soft white light of the gods will shine, and similarly the red light of the jealous gods, the blue light of human beings, the green light of the animals, the yellow light of the hungry ghosts, and the smoke-colored light of hell beings. These are the 6 lights. At that moment, your body will also take on the color of the place where you are going to be born. Now notice how this is about life now too, right? You take this and you map it, right? Remember, we're always dying and being reborn from moment to moment, day to day. And at every one of those moments or states of transition, there's the 6 possible lokas or worlds you would be attracted to, right? To be reborn into. There's a jealous god, a hungry ghost, a hell being, or so on, right? O child of noble family, at this time, the essential point of instruction is very important. Whatever light shines, meditate on that as the Lord of great compassion. Meditate on the thought that when the light appears, it is the Lord of great compassion. This is the most profound essential point. It is extremely important. Throughout the book, it tells you again and again, no matter what, the most important thing you can do, if everything else fails, if you can't do anything else, if you can't remember how to visualize deities, if you can't remember how to meditate, if the one-pointed concentration trick lets you down, think about helping other people, it says. Think about using whatever you're going through to help others. Don't think of yourself. That's what it means when it says, think of the Lord of great compassion, right? Who chose to be reborn and to continue to be reborn until everyone was liberated. Now, at this point, you begin to feel very confused as you look for a place of refuge, a place where you can shelter from the winds of karma. The language in the text is very evocative, right? Listen. Then you will have the experience, like that which we described before, of whirlwinds, snowstorms, and hailstorms, darkness closing around, and many men chasing you, and you will escape from them. Those without merit will feel they're escaping to a place of suffering, but those with merit will feel that they are arriving in a place of joy. At this time, O child of noble family, all the signs of the country and place where you're going to be born will appear. So now listen without distraction, for there are many very profound essential points of instruction. Although you have not understood these secrets of recognition before, even one whose practice was very poor will get the point here. So listen. I love how hopeful they are, right? Well, they say Padmasambhava wrote it, but how hopeful the text is, right? Well, surely, and it keeps on saying, notice, surely, even if you totally screwed up and you were a piss-poor meditator and you just watch porno, I don't know, right? Just try this. This will probably do it for you. And then that doesn't work. And they say, well, but try this then, because this will surely work for you, right? I love these guys, right? I just love them. And gals, yeah, right? Now, it is at this point that visions of people in sexual intercourse will appear, and you're attracted to that, toward a potential father and mother, right, who are making love and are about to conceive a baby, right? So you see visions of different fathers and mothers, and you're attracted to one of them to go to a place of rebirth, right? And The text says at this time there are two ways to help you. The first is to remind you of the practice of resting in the basic state of the ground luminosity and bringing your mind home to that clear awareness. But if that doesn't work, you're given 5 other methods. Because the text says, surely one of them will work. One of them is to visualize the man and woman as your teacher with his consort, which symbolizes your guru in the state of supreme meditative realization. Now, this just means that you're to continue the practice of sacred vision, of seeing the Buddha nature in everything you see, even right now. Right? Remember earlier in the semester, I made the same point. I said to you, if we look around with sacred outlook, then all of you are so many bodhisattvas, goddesses and gods. Come here to listen to me teach so I can be reminded of all these truths. Or maybe I've come here to teach as the Buddha, and all your other classmates are here to support just you as you listen. Who knows? Right? But if that doesn't work, it says, think of the couple as whichever of the 5 Buddha families was your chosen deity. Or if you never had that practice, just think of Avalokita with his consort, the Lord of Great Compassion. The point is not to get hung up in whatever life presents you. Instead, you call yourself back to the reality of the awakened state. As Francesca Fremantle puts it, it means that we are continually freeing the mind into openness, letting go of the egoistic agenda that normally influences all our thoughts, words, and actions. But if that doesn't work, then a third method is given, turning away passion and aggression. Let's focus on that a bit, partly just because of the marvelous imagery in the text. And if you were a Freudian theory, look for the Freud in here. It's kind of fascinating, though this was written in the 14th century. All right, let's see what page we're on. There will be projections of males and females in sexual union. And if you enter a womb at this moment through the power of passion and aggression, you will be born into a lower state. If you're going to be born as a male, you will experience yourself as a male and feel violent aggression toward the father and jealousy and desire for the mother, Freud. If you're going to be born as a female, you will experience yourself as female and feel intense envy and jealousy of the mother and intense desire and passion for the father. This will cause you to enter the path leading to the womb, and you'll experience self-existing bliss in the midst of the meeting of the sperm and ovum. From that blissful state, you will lose consciousness, and the embryo will grow round and oblong and so on until the body matures and comes out from the mother's womb. Right? Yeah. Note also the vivid imagery of being reborn as an animal. It says you will open your eyes and you have turned into a puppy. The first being a man, you have now become a dog, so you will suffer in a dog kennel. What does that mean? Well, we probably all had mornings when we come to our senses after some regrettable series of actions. Feel like some kind of dog in a kennel, eating our own vomit. Yeah. And if we're in class, we could talk more about this, but the idea is I couldn't die and become a dog immediately, right? But it's like I would enter a dog-like consciousness or an animal. That's the animal realm they're talking about. I would enter the animal realm, right? And we're all familiar with the animal realm. We talked about that before, right? Any couch potato moment, you're in the animal realm, and you're like that dog. You know? Now, I love the fourth method, right? It really caught my eye when I was 10 years old, to tell you the truth. The language here just enchanted me, right? Which is to think of the unreality of the illusion of permanence and substantiality arising from the denial of change, which has trapped us in the endless round of unreal life. What the text says applies to every moment of life, every aspect of it. Now they are all like dreams, like magic, like echoes, like castles in the air, like mirages, like reflections, like optical illusions, like the moon in water. The point is to undermine belief in duality and the self. You will be reborn because you will have realized and been liberated. Right? Here, I'll read this passage to you, which was the one that, like I said, totally enchanted me when I was 10 years old when I first found this book. Here we go, let's see. And if I do not realize that they are illusions, I shall wander in samsara for a long time, and certainly fall into the muddy swamp of suffering. Now they're all like dreams, like illusions, like echoes, like cities of the Gandharvas, like mirages, like images, like optical illusions, like the moon and water. They are not real, even for a moment. Certainly they are not true, but false. By concentrating one pointedly on this conviction, belief in the reality is destroyed. And when one is inwardly convinced in such a way, belief in a self is counteracted. I'd like to read you another translation of it. It's fun to read different translations, and if you're really interested in the Bardo Total, I recommend you also get this translation and read it, because obviously it's originally in Tibetan. Here's that same passage, and I love the way, and it's by the great Robert Thurman, and a great Tibetan scholar, and by one of those delightful interbeing strange coincidence things that are just kind of neat, the father of Uma Thurman, the actress. But anyway, here's his translation. I really like it. Hey, noble one, don't waver. Hold your will one-pointed in your mind. Even though you have done that, if the womb door did not close and you're about to enter the womb, you should block the womb door by the instruction of truthless, magical illusion. Meditate as follows. Male and female, father and mother, the thunderstorm, the hurricane, the thunder, terrifying visions, coronavirus. All phenomena are naturally like magical illusions. However they arise, they are truthless. All things are untrue and false, like mirages, impermanent, non-eternal. Why be attached to them? Why fear and hate them? It is to see nothing as something. All of these are but visions of my mind. The mind itself is as originally non-existent as a magical illusion. So where out there do they come from? Since I never understood this in the past, I held the non-existent to exist. I held the untrue to be true. I held illusion as truth. So for this long time, I wandered in the life cycle. If I still now do not recognize the illusoriness of things, I will wander even longer in the life cycle, and I will be stuck in the quicksand of various miseries. So now I will recognize all these things as like a dream, a magical illusion, an echo, a fairy city, a mirage, a reflection, an optical illusion, the moon and water, lacking even a moment's true status, definitely untrue and false. But if that doesn't work, it says meditate on the clear light, right? Meditate on the clear light. Let's read that. All substances are my own mind, and mind is emptiness, unarisen and unobstructed. Thinking this, keep your mind natural and undiluted, self-contained in its own nature, like water poured into water, just as it is, loose, open, and relaxed. Isn't that a marvelous image? Like water poured into water. That's what you want your mind to be like. By letting it rest naturally and loosely, you can be sure that the womb entrance to all four kinds of birth will certainly be closed. But if recognition does not occur, then you move further down toward rebirth. Note that in each case where you see what place you might be born in, you're told to choose, if you can, on the basis of whether or not the Dharma flourishes in that place. Even if the place is full of all kinds of wealth and happiness, it will be a trap if the Dharma is not flourishing there, right? In a film, they're interviewing some Tibetan people, and they ask one of them, well, what do you think of America? And she says, I hope one day they'll be reborn in a land where they can hear the Dharma. Right? So even if the place is like beautifully enjoyable. It's a trap, right? Just think of Admiral Akbar warning you, right? Let's see. If you're going to be born in the eastern continent, you will see a lake adorned with geese and ganders. Think of resistance, do not go there. Although it is full of happiness, it is a place where Dharma does not flourish. So do not enter it. Right? Now, things start getting really wild at this point, and you need to call up all the forces of crazy wisdom and wrathful compassion. Make sure you read the chapter on crazy wisdom in Francesca Fremantle's book, right? Let's see here. It's all going crazy. Here we go. O child of noble family, even though you wish not to go, you have no power of your own. You are helplessly compelled to go. From behind, the avengers of karma pursue you, and in front, avengers and murderers drag you along. Darkness, hurricanes, violent storms, noises, snow and rain, fierce hailstorms and snowstorms will whirl around you, and you will escape from them. Then in escaping, you will look for a refuge, and you will find safety in the luxurious houses described before, or in rock shelters or holes in the ground, between trees, or in the round cavities of lotus flowers, and so on. Hidden there, you'll be afraid to come out, and you will think, I cannot go out of here now. And through fear of leaving, you'll become very attached to that place. You're afraid of meeting these terrors of the Bardo if you go outside. You feel extreme fear of them. And so you hide inside and take a body, however bad it might be, and will experience all kinds of suffering. This is a sign that demons and evil forces are obstructing you now, which of course is just your own mind. And at this time there is a profound instruction. So listen and understand. Surely this time it will work. At this time of terror, when you are helplessly pursued by the avengers, you should immediately visualize with your whole body the blessed supreme Haruka, or your chosen deity if you have one, with a huge body and thick limbs, standing in a terrifying attitude of wrath which crushes all evil forces into dust. Yeah, I think of Goku, if you know who he is. If you don't know who Goku is, you don't know what the hell I'm talking about, and you've never watched Dragon Ball Z. But I'm thinking at this point in the Bardo, I'm calling on Goku, and his hair's going to rise up, and he's going to just, and he's going to roar. Goku is a Haruka. Yeah, all right? Separated from the Avengers by his blessing and compassion, you will have the power to choose the entrance of a womb. Right? This is the true profound secret of instruction, so understand it. Now, Buddhists always take a very practical attitude, and it's very funny and touching to see how it's applied in the text at these moments. It says that if karma is forcing you to be reborn and you have no choice, then essentially it's best to be like water and flow toward a good place, where the key is non-attachment and, of course, compassion, to try to think of others instead of yourself. Listen. Again, it is important to concentrate like this. I will be born as a ruler for the good of all sentient beings. Ha! Like the governor of New York right now. Or as a brahmana, like a great sala tree. Or as the son of a siddha. Or in the family of pure lineage of Dharma. Or in a family where the father and mother practice the Dharma. And taking a body with merits which can benefit all sentient beings, I will do good for others. Concentrating on this thought, enter the womb. At this time you should bless the womb you are entering as a palace of the gods, and supplicate Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 10 directions, especially the Lord of great compassion. It is possible to make a mistake in choosing a womb like this by seeing a good womb entrance or as bad or a bad one as good under the influence of karma. So now again, the essential point of the instruction is very important. So do this. Even if a womb entrance appears good, do not trust it. And even if it appears bad, do not dislike it. The true, profound, essential secret is to enter into the supreme state of equilibrium in which there is no good or bad, acceptance or rejection, passion or aggression. In other words, you might see yourself being born into poverty as opposed to being born into a wealthy family. But being attached to neither, you'll flow toward the poverty because there you'll have the best chance of realizing Dharma, for example. Right? Now, soon you'll be conceived, and your memory of all that has gone before, it says, will be obliterated. So at this time, you're given one last instruction. But, except for the few who are experienced in this, it is hard to get rid of the disease of bad unconscious tendencies, isn't it? There's a true statement. It's hard to get rid of the disease of bad unconscious tendencies. Man, I resemble that remark. Well, anyway, but except for the few who are experienced in this, it is hard to get rid of the disease of bad unconscious tendencies. So to prevent him taking refuge among sinners of the poorest capacities, the lowest of the low like beasts, if he cannot cut off passion and aggression in this way, one should call the dead person again by name and say these words. O child of noble family, if you do not know how to choose a womb entrance and cannot get rid of passion and aggression, whatever of the above experience may arise, call on the name of the Buddha and the Dharma and the Sangha and take refuge in them. Supplicate the Lord of great compassion. Go on with your head held high. Give up attachment and yearning for the relatives and friends, sons and daughters you have left behind. They cannot help you. Enter now into the blue light of human beings, or the white light of the gods. Enter the jeweled palaces and the pleasure gardens. Take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Call on the Lord of great compassion. Go on with your head held high. Give up attachment and yearning, and see everything around you with sacred vision. See everything that is around you as a sacred mandala of jeweled palaces and pleasure gardens. Wherever you are born, see it with the eyes of a Buddha. Thank you for your kind attention.